It all started so innocently. A brilliant doctor, desperate to save his wife, concocts what he hopes will be a miracle cure for a deadly virus. Hoping to speed along the development process, the doctor enlists the help of a family, the Piggies, who want nothing more than to help the doctor develop his cure. They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions, but in this case, it's not hell those good intentions led, but a full-blown zombie apocalypse. Now, half the world's been infected and you're fighting for your life. But of all the infected out to tear you limb from limb, none are more dangerous than the original infected, the Piggy family. So how are you going to fight and defeat Piggy? Substance 128, or the potion, has various effects on its host, but mainly acts as a neurotoxin. It's not exactly known what Mr. P, its developer, used to create Substance 128, but it either includes live bacteria or viruses, or perhaps a chemical that short-circuits a living brain. This is because unlike normal neurotoxins that kill their victim outright, Substance 128 seems to instead selectively destroy or suppress only the parts of the brain responsible for higher thinking. Motor skills and reflexes are maintained, but the ability to reason or act past a rudimentary level of intelligence are all gone in those infected. Perhaps Substance 128 contains living cells that act as parasites, or the chemicals simply destroy parts of the brain, devolving the victim into a primal intelligence. Whatever the case, after the Piggy family was infected, they were able to rapidly infect others. This means that the original substance was a virus, or perhaps an ordinary virus already infecting the Piggy family was mutated to create the zombie-like aggression and loss of intelligence. Whatever the case, Substance 128 is now fully viral, and social distancing won't save you from the Piggy apocalypse. The Piggies, as the infected are typically known, show highly increased aggression. Although peculiarly, they don't display the typical feeding behavior associated with other zombies or even predators. Instead, Piggies seek to simply kill non-infected and will completely ignore other infected around them. This hints at two things. The first being that some higher brain function might still be preserved within infected hosts, and two, that the infection might be heightening some innate sense of territoriality, leading the infected to be extremely aggressive due to a perceived violation of their territory. No matter how far you run from a Piggy though, they will not stop chasing you, meaning that the infected seem to consider the entire world their territory, and simply fleeing won't be enough to win the day. Because of their heightened aggression and lack of self-preservation, Piggies have greater strength than the non-infected, though still enough self-preservation to avoid obviously suicidal things like running into pits or through fire. Again, this means that some form of higher intelligence is still present in the infected, making Piggies more dangerous zombies than your traditional Walking Dead. Because of the sheer number of infected, escape is likely going to be your best option. Going hand-to-hand with a Piggy is going to likely end poorly for you, given each individual's heightened strength and the sheer numbers of infected that will certainly show up to the site of any battle. It's best then to keep this fight at a distance, so firearms are going to be your preferred tool for eliminating Piggies. But be careful, the sound of gunfire is certain to draw even more infected to your location. Perhaps you'd be better served with more silent ranged weapons like bows and arrows, with compound bows available in basically any hunting store across the US. To survive a real-world Piggy apocalypse, you're going to want to do the opposite of what we typically recommend in these scenarios and go the solo route. Teaming up is always a great way of boosting your odds of survival, but in this world gone Piggy mad, a teammate could be a liability. If, however, you absolutely must team up, then you can take some preventative measures to identify an infected before they get too close. For example, you could come up with a challenge phrase the way that US military sentries do. Simply come up with a question or a statement and a response that the person being challenged has to reply with. It could make sense or be completely nonsensical, but it should always be the same response. You could, for example, make your challenge phrase be, "Who has the most overpriced and terrible sushi in the world?" And the response phrase could be, "Volcano." It's not only a true statement, but a good challenge phrase because the infected won't have the higher intelligence necessary to come up with a coherent answer. That way, if you suspect that a friend who's been out of sight for too long is infected, you can simply ask them who makes the worst sushi in the world, and they'll tell you volcano, marking them as safe and uninfected. If, however, you get no response, it's time to run and treat your friend as just another infected. Sadly, you're not going to win a fight against the Piggy apocalypse because, as the coronavirus has shown us, infections spread at blistering speeds across the world. Your best bet is to let nature run its course and simply flee for the hills. Find somewhere remote and cold to hide out and wait the apocalypse out. With no higher thinking skills, piggies will be unable to feed themselves or protect themselves from the elements, and within a few weeks, only a few stragglers should be left alive. At that point, it'll be your job to reclaim the world and perhaps find Mr. P and punish him for the evil he so carelessly unleashed on the world. Ready for more epic showdowns? Check out You vs. the Rake, or check out this other video instead.